Hello, I'm Denise Lanman, your host for Chamber Chat. Thank you for joining us today, and my first guest is Derric Watson from Web Canopy Studio. How are you today, Derric?
I'm well, thanks, Denise. How are you?
Not too bad. So you're from Web Canopy Studio.
Right.
And so, studio, we're in a TV studio. Are you going to make me a movie star?
I can make you a movie star if you'd like me to make you a movie star. Web Canopy Studio focuses on online marketing, internet marketing, website development, search engine optimization, e-commerce, online sales stuff. So if you wanted to create a web presence for your movie stardom, we could do that.
Oh.
But usually people come to us with their ideas, and then we help them figure out how to make those ideas, and then we create them online.
So no acting classes, right?
We don't offer acting classes. That might be an untested market that we could play with, but I don't think that's on our list of things to do in the near future.
Okay. So Web Canopy Studio is more about marketing.
Yes.
Okay. So
yes.
You are kind of new to the area, right? Is this
sort of.
business?
I am new-ish to the field of doing web-based website development and web-based marketing. I am not new to Richmond, but I worked for Somersault for a number of years, and I'm coming up on a year with Web Canopy Studio, and we're in the Innovation Center.
And how old is Web Canopy Studio?
Web Canopy Studio started in 2010. So this is the company's 4th year.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you're continuing to grow, aren't you?
Yes. Yes, I was the first hire last fall beyond John Aiken, who is one of the partners. And we then hired one of our interns who had been with us for a number of months from IU East. And we've had other interns, and we're looking now at what expanding might be to have some more people come on. And again, there's enough work to do and not quite enough time. We're sort of on the edge of that, which is an exciting place to be.
It is. That is a great place to be. So tell us a little bit more if I want a website, or give us some input on what you guys actually do.
So what we actually do is, let me back up a smidge. Some of the stuff we think about has to do with what do you want to do online? What do you want to do in the world that involves my tablet and my phone and my desktop? How do you want to extend your reach using the technologies of the internet?
Okay.
That's the kind of stuff we think about. And for some people, for most people, it's a website. And if they want to market with their website, if they want to sell something with their website, how they want their website to tie into their social media, how they want Facebook and Twitter and all those things to work together, that's the kind of stuff we think about. And for some of our clients, it's just as simple as, we need a website, here's the pictures, here's the text, please put them on the page in these places, make them work, make them look pretty. And that's easy, and we can do that, and there's not a lot of creativity that's involved because the client is very clear about what they want.
Right.
Other people say, I should get online. Or, I have a product, and we're a brick and mortar store, and we would like to begin selling this to a virtual audience, to people far away, and we'd like to figure out some way to market it, to get our name out, to deal with orders and fulfillment. And so that's the stuff that we get really excited about, because we can use our creativity and we can use our experience and our expertise in a consulting way, and we can use these technologies to answer problems and to solve the logic question of, if I want to buy your shoes and I live in Boise, Idaho, how do I do that, and how can we connect that way? So that's the kind of stuff that we really like, that we get really excited about.
That of course, if you can use your creative talent, it's much more fun.
Yes.
But you've done several websites for people in town, and you also reach out and do things outside the community as well. And social media is part of what you teach them how to connect or set them up to connect with. So how do you do that? I mean,
right now we're working with a particular client in town, and it's a client who sells something and does well, but would like to do more business. And so the questions we ask are, how do you use your social media? How do you use your Facebook or Twitter? Do you do anything with LinkedIn, for example? What do you do with some of the other social media things that are out there? How do you use Instagram? How do you use those if what you sell has beautiful pictures, how do you get beautiful pictures of what you sell and then put those on Pinterest so that when somebody goes to Pinterest and sees the beautiful things you sell, they can go back to your website and then they can place an order. So that's the way we think about how to have a presence in social media, because as soon as I get off the air, I'm going to make sure I check my Facebook profile and see who's been writing me, and I might check Twitter to see what's happening with the weather. People will jump on, particularly mobile devices, and use that for their social media more than anything else. So if people can find your shoes, beautiful pictures of your shoes, on these places, on Pinterest or on Facebook, or if they can find where somebody who has bought your shoes and says, oh my word, they're the most amazing thing, they're beautiful and comfortable, you should buy them. Oh, well, Susan thought they were great. I think Susan has great taste. I'm going to check out those shoes too. That's some of how we work it. And it's also a matter of how to use social media to talk about who the rest of your company is. So if we're going to talk about Web Canopy Studio, we should talk about Derric Watson, it's me, and John Aiken, who is partner, and Shannon Aiken, who's partner, and Patrick O'Neill, who does development. So to give the company a face, to give the company a personality, instead of the people who live in the basement and who make websites, which isn't true. But if you understand that there are these people who have these different skills and abilities and the things they like to do, that's a great way to use social media, because then it builds connection and it builds this sense of personality. And that helps us stand out, or would help you stand out from other folks who sell nice, pretty shoes. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, it does. So it just kind of pulls it all together.
Right.
So this is a different type of marketing, though, than what was around.
Right.
What, 15 years ago?
Even 5 years ago. It's very different. And to describe it, there's some of the words to describe it now are inbound and outbound marketing. So outbound marketing is often marketing that's interruptive. So if I'm watching TV in the evening and a commercial comes on that tells me I should buy something or watch a movie, and really what we've done is we've gotten pretty savvy at thinking, it used to be, I've got 5.5 minutes, I'm going to go make a sandwich and get myself a Coke. And I'll sit down and I'll be back at my TV before the show starts again. But if folks have some sort of DVR and they recorded their show, they can just skip over the commercials. Or if we're being illegal, I'm just copying, I'm torrenting it, and I'm downloading it and not paying for it, and I watch without commercials at all. So we've gotten really good at skipping past these ads.
Right.
So folks are on the radio and they're listening to streaming internet or satellite music. They are getting their music without any commercials. So what we've done is we've found ways to create these spaces in our lives of not listening to commercials. Or people are driving and I've learned how to tune out billboards on the side of the road. That's all this outbound marketing that tries to interrupt. So basically it's a marketer saying, I know what you should pay attention to. Don't pay attention to the thing you want to watch on TV. Don't pay attention to the newest episode of fill in the blank. You should pay attention to my shoe company. The idea is it's interruptive, and I've gotten to the point where I find it pretty obnoxious. So inbound marketing is the other version, which is using social media, which is having things on my website. So basically, there are two main ways that people search for something online. This all will tie in. The first way is, I'm curious, where would I find nice, attractive shoes? Or they have a problem they want to solve. My doctor says I need to get different shoes. Or I think I have a cold. What are the symptoms of a cold? Or what's a really good cold medicine? And people will do a quick search for this. And so if you want to make sure that your shoes are found, you're going to have to put content on your website and on your social media about your shoes, how beautiful they are, how comfortable they are, how Susan thinks that they are wonderful and feel good. So I'm going to find you that way. So instead of your marketing interrupting my time, your marketing is going to tie into the things that I find interesting and then suck me into you and what you have online. That's very, very different. So instead of the shotgun approach where everybody sees all the marketing,
right,
you're going to see the specific pieces that I have targeted for people who want the kind of stuff I have to offer. That's what's different about it. And it's not new. It's probably 5 or 6 years old, really, let's be honest. But it's new in that it's a new way of thinking about things. It's a new way of thinking about how to use the technologies of the internet to gather people in. And it still feels kind of scary because it's so different. It's hard to track. We know how to track the return on investment for a radio spot or a TV spot. We're familiar with the squishiness of that. And we don't always know what to do with web traffic. And what does it mean if somebody comes to my website and spends 35 seconds there? Does that mean something? What if they didn't click? Well, that's bad if they didn't click. So there are some new ways of thinking about what engagement looks like that are really, really different from the old ways. And that lends some anxiety to wrap all that up.
Right.
That's the kind of stuff that we talk about as well, and we can talk about it beforehand, and then we can work with clients and say, this is what these things mean, this is what you can expect, and this is how to continue working with this and make sure you get the best out of the energy you're putting in. That was a really long answer.
It was a good answer, though.
Okay, good, thank you.
It was a good answer. So you're targeting specific people. I do have to throw in there, though, the marketing that you do hits a certain amount of people or a certain type of people first, doesn't it? So probably very computer savvy people. So technology driven.
Yes.
But you can help someone who isn't technology driven to understand and to become familiar with this style of marketing, so they can keep their billboards and they can keep their other forms that probably, honestly, people my age or older
are more comfortable with. Sure.
And familiar. You know, nobody likes change.
Right.
But we have to change. I think we're just changing slower. Right. So if I come in, you're going to be able to say, okay, Denise, this is good, this is good, this is good, but this is much better, and this is going to work totally different for me. So you'll work with people that are not technology driven. So and by being a local business, I think that you guys do that better than some.
Well, and if we were based in, again, Boise, Idaho, it would be hard to pick up the phone. It would feel less comfortable picking up the phone and talking to someone no one's met in a different time zone. And so we're right downtown, and there are folks who just literally drop in, I had a quick question, and they'll stop by. And that's great, because the direct is much easier and much more effective. And we can also help have the conversation about, so your billboards work this way and your radio spot works this way. Let's try some of this new internet stuff, as well as for part of the entire marketing package. We're not saying this is the only way to go, because that's not realistic for people. But how can this be a way how can we centralize it so that the billboard directs people to the website, which then focuses on your message that you get to write yourself? That's some of the things we like to think about, is what is the unifying piece for all of the marketing endeavors that then gets something across. And
this is something that's going to have to be addressed for companies that are going to continue to grow. As more and more people have technology carrying it in their pockets, in their bag. Right now I have in my bag a laptop and a tablet and a phone in my pocket, and I don't think that's unusual for people to have that much stuff. And then to be able to find what I'm looking for that way is important. So if people have questions, they're interested in a website, they're interested in this form of marketing, they can contact you at Web Canopy Studio. WebCanopyStudio.com. All right. The phone number is 765-544-0030. There you go. Thank you. Thank you very much for joining us today. Welcome back to Chamber Chat. Joining me now is Trevor Oakerson, Director of Marketing and Membership at the Chamber of Commerce, and Derric Watson from Web Canopy Studio. Hi guys, how are you today? Hello. Good, how are you? I just seen you just a little earlier in the show. I know, just a little bit ago I was here and I had a delightful time, so thanks for keeping me here. Well, I appreciate you volunteering to stay or agreeing to stay. You didn't volunteer, but I asked you because you have some specific connections with internships also, which is what Trevor and I would like to touch on for the rest of the program.
Great.
You mentioned that you had interns at the company now.
Right.
And I think earlier, before we started the show, you said that you worked with Earlham interns. And you were an intern, weren't you? Were you ever an intern?
No, I never interned myself. Well, not officially. But we do have interns at Web Canopy Studio. We have one right now who is a part-time graphic design intern, who is a Ball State alumna. Patrick, whom I mentioned, was an intern from IU East, and now is working for us part-time as well for pay.
Nice.
One of the success stories of how internships work. And then I know late last summer we had a couple different folks who were doing internships, both in the office and remotely. So having those experiences have been really good to gain the life skills and to gain sort of what the real world is like working in a real office. That's crucial, important work to do. Second, I did work at Earlham for a number of years in the Career Center, and in the Career Center at that time was the internship program, the internship coordination. So I oversaw the program that connected with local businesses, with regional businesses, to try and connect students to do internship and practicum hours with businesses and nonprofits.
Nice. So that'll fit in with an event we held actually last week, but it was an intern event, and it was to bring information to local businesses on internships. And our focus was kind of why. Why do you have interns? What they can do for you, but more what you can do for them. And so Trevor, tell the audience why internships are so important now.
Well, on the business side, I think that the most important takeaway from our event was that internships can be used as an HR function. So you have an intern, you teach them, you've got all of that time as a kind of extended interview of them. And then if you need to hire in the future, you've already got a pool of well-qualified applicants. On the student side, it's about developing the soft skills, learning what office culture is and how to dress and how to behave appropriately, and then also developing further your kind of academic skills and translating them directly into life skills.
And I think a lot of employers now are using internships almost as a form of experience for students or people changing careers that have gone to back to school to learn a different career and go into something else. So that internships are becoming very important in a lot of different ways, and they've evolved. What have you seen that's different from when you worked at Earlham with the interns several years ago compared to now?
I know some of the things that are different, and this is the last 4 or 5 or 6 years even, is the expectation that it seemed that not that many years ago, internships were not the norm. They weren't something that people always did. It was rare, or it was part of certain majors that they had to do. But now I think there's an expectation that students will spend some time in a summer or a break, or even in an extended period of time for a semester or a year, and will gain these experiences and will do this work because it betters them, but it also makes them much more attractive to employers or to nonprofits or even to graduate school, that they have this sort of experience in an office or in an organization. It may not be office based, but that's more the norm and less the exception.
So we have a couple programs here in town. Well, I'm sorry. I would like to claim them, but I can't. So in the state of Indiana, we have a program on the internet. It's indianaintern.net. And businesses, companies, and students are registered on that site to try to connect. So it's almost like a matchup website, which falls along with what you do is websites, and we can't reach somebody as easily in Lafayette or in Maryville or Gary or someplace as we can now that we have websites and the internet.
Right.
So we have that program. We also have a program here in Indiana called EARN, and that is a program that will match funds to pay your intern. So there are a lot of paid internships now, and there's some qualifications for the EARN program, but if they have any questions, they can contact us at the chamber. Trevor has a lot of answers for questions. He was an intern. How many internships did you serve before?
I did 3 internships prior to graduating college, and so that has really been a very positive experience. And for my work in one of the internships, I actually interacted with IndianaIntern.net in the capacity that I was nominated for Intern of the Year at their annual Impact Awards. I was actually a finalist for that as well.
Wow, that's impressive.
Nice.
Maybe that's why we hired you.
Well, all of these programs are really great, and I'd really like to stress that they are a wonderful resource for people. So IndianaIntern.net, and then the Employment Aid Readiness Network, which is what EARN stands for. Those both have full staff that are willing to work with people and to help them use their resources, and it's just a great source of information.
And there are a lot of companies in town that are opening their doors, actually opening their eyes to the importance of internships, so they're opening their doors.
Right.
And we have interns that you can get from the high schools. If you're looking for someone just short time, so an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours a day or a couple times a week, and that also benefits the high school kids in the direction they want to go once they get out, and what colleges they would want to attend to go into what areas. And then we have the interns that are at the college level. We also sometimes you have an intern that is just changing careers and is not coming out of the education system. So it encompasses a large group of people, and we don't have enough businesses to host all of those interns. So it's one of the things that we're trying to bring information to the front for companies and businesses to see what the benefits are. So is there anything that particularly stood out for you at the event, Trevor, that we haven't mentioned?
Well, I think that the EARN program is something that's very new. It's something that has just been in full force this year. And I was listening to that and I was thinking, wow, that would have been so beneficial for so many people. And I think that they really stress that no matter how much you pay your intern, they will pay half. They don't turn people away based on their ability to pay their intern.
Yeah.
So if you were hosting someone and you want to pay them $10 an hour, they'll pay $5.
Wow.
If you want to pay, $50 an hour, they'll pay $25.
That's very cool.
So yes, there's no cap on it right now. So that's really, really good. How about you, Derric? What's the most important thing that that the internship does for your company?
2 things come to mind. I'll cheat and answer it twice. The first is there are always different tasks or ideas or things we would like to try that we may not always get a chance to work on. Some good ideas we have, or some fun things that have come out, or some dabbling that is usually creative and fun that always seems to fall off the bottom of our list. So that's the first part, is having somebody whose time is a little freer to do some research or to play with these new ideas, play in the technical sense of go do some code with that, or playing of, hey, what's this Tumblr thing? It's not new, but what are we going to do with it?
That's my question.
I know.
What's Tumblr?
We'll talk about it later. The second part is it's really, really valuable because the more interns we have who are in our office, then that tells me that there are more people who are gaining these skills of being good professional employees. They're getting the skills of what it means to work in the tech field. And it's not radically different from the non-tech field, but there are some idiosyncrasies. And folks who get that and who can then move into other tech companies and do well and can be good employees and bring some good value. So I like both of those in the short term, and then in the long term with more folks in the workforce who can do a good job.
And sometimes they get hired by their employer.
Sometimes they get hired by their employer, exactly, which then fills that HR piece we were talking about earlier.
Right, so that it gives you a pool to draw from.
Yep.
and maybe train or guide in the direction that you would like for them to take. So it gives
Yep.
the business a huge advantage in a lot of ways.
Well, and it creates a lifelong advocate for your company, because even though I'm not working at any of the places I interned, I'm taking their message and I'm running with it.
Yep.
So I'm representing them every day by how I act and conduct myself. And when people ask me about those experiences, I'm more than happy to answer any questions that they have.
So we have some information on internships from IndianaIntern.net, and we have those at the office, at the chamber office. But we have something else coming up in a couple days, which is geared towards marketing. Well, the chamber has a lot of things going on, and we try to expose businesses, residents, students to things that are important for the community. But one of the things is that we're doing a marketing breakfast. So what is that? That's an educational breakfast. It's July 25th.
It is a showcase of different perspectives on marketing. So we're going to have people like Web Canopy Studios present, but we're also going to have our radio stations and different other avenues of marketing there represented, and they will all come together, and it'll be a very informal event. People will be able to interact and really have conversations with each other to kind of discuss maybe some best practices and to advertise for themselves.
All right, so that's one of the events. We have a list of events on our website.
Good.
So you should view our website on occasion, find out what's going on. If there's something that you're interested in, it'll be posted there. If we're not doing something, you can call us and suggest it, and we'll see what we can do. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me today and for being on Chamber Chat. And thank you for joining us today.